Hey everyone, and welcome to the episode. In this series, I really hope to be able to start teaching you all how to use a DAW like Mixcraft. This program is so amazing, and I'm so glad I paid the money to be able to do it. I have always had a passion for music writing and music production, but I've never had a way to put the language that was up here to down here on a computer. I hope that through this series, I'm actually able to teach you guys as well as I've been able to teach myself. So follow along for the ride. I hope you all enjoy. Remember, if you're new to the channel, consider giving us a like and a subscribe. We grow every day, and I really want to be able to make this into a permanent series along with the React, you know, showing you all how to do music production and stuff. That way it also helps me learn as well, so we grow better together. Love you guys. Enjoy the show. Whenever you first load your Mixcraft, this is going to be one of the main screens that you see. Mixcraft, the company, has provided a wonderful starting screen that shows you the capability of what a program like Mixcraft is capable of. Acoustica really has come a long way in their product, and I really can vouch for them 150%. What really makes this special is, like I said, it shows you what you can do right off the bat. To give you an idea, you want it to be fun. Beautiful piano. Ah, so beautiful. Like fine Swedish women and moose meat. So you get the idea. You want your music writing to be fun. And as a matter of fact, that tune that I let you guys hear in the beginning was actually a tune that I wrote for this episode and for this series. Actually, by the end of this series, I hope to have built exactly that tune with you all again, to have shown you how to do it and how to make your own drum beats in addition to your own instrument sounds, your own loops, your own samples, your own everything. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you are going to want to open a new project. This is a little weird. So you're going to go up to File and hit New Project, or Control-N is the hotkey for it. No sweat. When you are in your new project creation screen, it's going to give you a specific set of windows here. So you can actually specify specific settings that you want, or you can load an existing template. In case you have an existing template, there is an actual folder that exists inside of your computer that is created for you automatically. That way you can load any sort of presets that you download. Pretty handy. Or you can actually load an existing project that you have currently working on. So that's a really fun fact. So in this episode, we're going to actually stick with creating a brand new track from scratch, and we're going to specify some settings for us. We are not working with a video track, so we don't need to worry about that. That's one of the main things that I love about this. I work with Adobe Premiere Pro, and I absolutely love the fact that there is video editing in this. It blows my mind that this program has that much capability. Instrument tracks are for your virtual instruments. We're actually going to have 2 of those in this track, one for each of our drums to be spatially stereo. One for the left, one for the right. So we're going to have 2 instrument tracks included in here. I'll show you how to actually link a drum kit. I'll show you actually how to play along with the drum kit on an actual Akai MPK MIDI controller. I'm actually going to show you all of that throughout this series. So I hope you all enjoy. Your audio tracks is for how much audio, like the audio files you are going to be having. I like to start with about 5. I always seem to have strings. I always seem to have extra percussion, chimes, cowbell, whatever. I always seem to have my drums actually for the instrument tracks in the future. When I figure out how to separate all of the drums to their separate tracks, a virtual instrument track for the snare, virtual instrument track for the kick, virtual instrument for each of the cymbals, each of the hi-hats, you know, you get the idea. We're going to end up with a 30-40 track song. And that's exactly what you want. You want it to be spatial. You want it to be beautiful. You want it to be well written. So we're not going to need any vocoder tracks. We're not going to need any submix tracks or any sending or output tracks. We do want our master track. We want to leave our snap settings on grid for now. I'll show you about the details of that later. We want to leave our mode in beats. If you ever want to check how long your song is, all you got to do is switch over to time real fast. It's up here in the top bar, which is really fun. I love the UI for Mixcraft. It is so intuitive. As a programmer, I love it. I absolutely love it. And another fun fact about this program is I don't have crash issues like I do with Adobe Premiere Pro. So good job, Acoustica. We're going to leave it at a nice solid 80 tempo. We're going to leave it in the key of C. We're going to leave it in our 4/4 time signature, as a matter of fact. We don't need our performance panel for this. We're not going to worry about our sets, and we're not going to worry about our auto beat match. So once you have all of those settings set, we are going to click OK, and it is going to create our new project. It might take a few seconds. There it is. There's our new project. So you see here, it automatically defaults to a couple of awesome instruments. So we have acoustic pianos as our 2 virtual instrument tracks. And you see down here, we have just blank audio track. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have a total of 7 tracks total, with the 8th being our master track. All right. So what we are going to do in this episode is I would like to show you the basic mapping of this program. And in the next episode, we probably will start building our track. So here we go. Starting from upper left, and we'll go to bottom right. Exploring our toolbar up top, you see you have the new project, open the load project button, the add sounds button, the save projects button. Continuing down the line, you have your mix down to audio file button. You have undo and redo. You have zoom in and zoom out. You have your MIDI learn button, which is really interesting, and I'll get into details on that in a future episode. We have our preferences panel here. We have our volume to pan to our different instruments, is what we want to control at the time. I like how it has pitch control. That is wonderful. Here's our snap to grid. You can actually designate it to where you want to have however many bars per measure that you want, and to set what kind of note you want, a half note, quarter note, eighth note, 16th, your subdivision, okay, in your measure. And you can set it to triplets. I love it. Anything you can think of, you can basically write in this program. It's incredible. And as an added bonus, you remember how I said to check exactly how long your song is? All you have to do is switch from beats to time. There you go. It shows you exactly how long it is, from 2 seconds, 24 seconds, and if you zoom out to an hour and a half. You know, you can do as long as you want in Mixcraft. This program is so powerful. I cannot stress it enough. And the only reason I'm not currently using Mixcraft for my microphone settings for this episode is because I wanted you all to see and hear the difference from using just a streaming software like OBS Stream Elements versus using a DAW. There is a monumental professional quality difference, okay? I want you all to see the evolution throughout this series along with me. This is, like I said, this is a learning for both of us. It's me teaching you, learning more, teaching myself. So it's wonderful. As a matter of fact, we can actually come down here and choose our microphone input. If I'm not mistaken, for audio track 3, yep, sure enough, test, 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 test. And you see the levels are coming up in it now. And you also see it automatically arms it to record. That's really good. So continuing down the line, you see we have a add a new track button. You see that we have our show or hide our master track, which is very handy if you come across having the need to have more tracks than space in your program, because you can see you can only minimize the bottom master track bar so much, which is before we get to where we start undocking it. Okay, that's when it really gets fun. Let's continue exploring. Let's start with our acoustic piano virtual instrument. I feel like now is a good time to start building our track. So if we start with the top left, you can see double clicking on the name of this allows you to rename it. Okay, I do not currently know what instrument we are going to put in here just yet, but I will show you a cool added bonus. The next button I want to show you is the changed instrument button. So changing the instrument brings up this window. In this window, you can see that Mixcraft comes with over 1,200 virtual instruments at your discretion. That is a lot. That is a lot. An orchestra has like 75 to 100 people. You can see that it's everything from a 12-string dulcimer to synth waves to acoustic pianos to alpha bass, bass and chords. Just scrolling down the list really fast. I saw cinema, Fruity Loops patterns. It pulls from a load of libraries, and I am absolutely fascinated by this program. So what we are going to do is in this project, we are going to click on VSTI instruments, and we are going to click on MT Power Drum Kit, which is going to load yet another screen, which is our VST Drum Kit screen, which you can see it is a free pack that comes with this program, any DAW that you use. They encourage you to donate, but it's not mandatory. I myself have donated, but it hasn't been much, but I plan on donating more in the future when I become more and more involved in my music producing and I have more tracks out available. but at the moment, I just choose to keep mine unregistered. And as you can see, we have a wonderful, wonderful mixed drum kit here. And as a matter of fact, you guys can't see this right now. I'll show you this in a later part of a future episode. But I have a MIDI controller in front of me, which allows me to control it a lot easier than using my mouse. So I wanted to show you all how to access the instruments. And what's amazing about this kit is it comes with its own mixer. So say you don't like the level of the kick, well, you can turn it down, okay? Say you don't like the level of the snare, you can turn that baby down. There's so much control. Say you don't like that the snare has a compression on it, you can turn it off. And you can see it adds more punch to it. Say for some reason, the side stick of the snare, you want it to be panned because you're hitting it on the right side. Well, now you can pan it to where it's hitting it on the right side. It's a beautiful bass line of control, and you can see we have our MIDI, our master track over here that controls the entire track. So if we like our mix, but we think our drums are just a little bit too loud for the overall instrument, and don't feel like we want to control it that much in our bass DAW, we could do it within the actual plugins, compression, and master track mixer. So that's wonderful to be able to do here. Like I said, you want to keep this fun because this shit gets so tedious after a while that you'll drive yourself fucking nuts, okay? You really will, listening to the same thing over and over and over again, which is actually another thing that I recommend is getting yourself a pair of studio monitors versus in-ear monitors, okay? There's a fun fact about in-ear monitors that says that you can only really listen to them for a couple of hours at a time before you drive your wheels off the highway going crazy, and you actually have to take them out and give your ears a bit of a break. So you can listen to a lot longer and mix for a lot longer with some really high quality studio monitors. So, and my personal recommendation for those, you can actually go and see on another part of my channel, is the JBL 6-inch subs, the studio monitors that I did an unboxing review of. The best on the market, in my opinion, for the bang of your buck, and you cannot beat it. Cannot beat it. So continuing on with our saga here, I want to show you how to create stereo drums, and I feel that this would be an excellent way to wrap up this episode, okay? There is a wonderful trick. Oh, and here's a fun fact too before we continue. You see how this drum kit's open and we're actually registering on the master track, but you see how the master track is redlining? Well, that's a little bit of a clip. So we are going to turn down our drum kit to where it and the master track are not clipping, okay? Redlining is bad. You do not want any clipping, and if you send your mix down tracks to a professional to mix and master and your track is clipping, they're not going to be able to help you. It's garbage, and they're going to throw it away and ask you to re-record it. So fun fact, save your money, save your time, do it right the first time. Gotcha. So continuing on, to give yourself the true stereo drums, because you know every drum set doesn't sound fucking mono, okay? It's not just like one right in front of you. You know, it's got some spatial sound to it. A China's going to be on whatever side you hit it on. The ride's going to be on whatever side you hit it on. Whatever hi-hat and birds chirps you're doing, you want it to be on whatever side you're hitting on. So to show you the power of Mixcraft. The fun thing about this kit is once it's open and once it's loaded, you don't have to keep it loaded in order to continue using the powerful kit. So going back to your DAW, you can see we still have access to the kit without actually having the plugin for the screen loaded. So you can close it out. Not many people know that, and not many people talk about that, but I wanted to show you all that because I felt that that was important, because that you're going to drive yourself nuts with all these different windows on the screen unless you know what you're looking at and you know what you can and can't close. I know that I am one of those people that hates it when I don't know what I'm looking at. So you see here, I am labeling this first drum kit on Virtual Instrument Track 1 as MT Power Drum Kit L for left. And then on the second one, we are going to go back to that kit, navigating on our instrument window. We are going to go back to the MT Power Drum Kit. And this is for Virtual Instrument Track 2, okay? So we are effectively loading 2 drum kit. And as you can see here, we now have our second drum kit, all right? And it also sounds the same. And you have the same control with it, okay? So what I wanted to point out here is when you have both of your kits loaded, you will indeed have 2 drum screens open. Okay? This is not wrong. You're not crazy. You just have to see how this works whenever you achieve true stereo. So what we are going to do is when we have both of our drum kit screens open, we are going to go back to our Mixcraft, all right? And we are going to pan our left track to the left. And since we have a pretty extreme pan, I like to go about 80%. That guarantees that it is a nice, spatial, room quality acoustic sound whenever you have your drum kit here. And you can do this for all of your kits, whether it's like an electronic kit for hip hop, trap, whatever. You know, you want to add that room quality spatial sound because it's really going to hit extra whenever you're in a car. I'm telling you, people will notice the difference. And you want to do the same thing to the right track here. You want to pan it about 80% right. And then whenever you have your finished product will look something like this. You will have both of the names labeled left and right. You will have them panned 80% left and right to their corresponding, zones. And then you will arm both of them because if you see, if one's armed and one's not, it's not going to come up with both kits. But if you click arm to record, you see both kits play. But, okay, here's an added effect. You see how it's redlining? One's left, one's right. Well, this is where your mixing and mastering comes into play. Because you are panning it to one side, you are giving it more power. So you definitely want to turn your volume down until you are just flirting with that yellow line. And you want to do this for both tracks. Trust me. So now you can see our master is sitting pretty good. And remember, you can actually achieve that extra level of control. See how our kick, the snare is way louder than the kick? Well, you can achieve that control by going back to the drum kit, opening up the drum kit, and then going to your mixer. And remember, the snare is a little bit too loud, so we're going to turn the kick up till we like how it sounds. I like that. It's a little more crunchy. And we're going to turn the snare down. A little more. I like that. And you can see how you would have the individual baseline level of control here. It's just absolutely wonderful to be able to do what you want with this. So here we go. I want to finish up this episode by showing you one last piece of cool thing that this drum pack has. And it is pre-written grooves. This is where your loops come in. So this is an introductory level to your loop. Like I said, you want to keep it fun. Fun! F is for friends who do stuff together. So, you can see, by clicking on our grooves button, let me just close that back out, and clicking on our grooves button down here, it's going to open another screen. I'm so sorry that there are so many screens, but I promise you, once you learn intuitively how all of this is laid out, it is so easy to remember, and your eyes just go straight to it. It's laid out great. I love it. I cannot vouch for this enough. You can see, we are not limited to just one type of beat. The people who have made this kit are just amazing. They have uploaded so many grooves. Starting at the top of the list, you have a 4/4 groove that can be adjusted from 60 to 150 BPM. I love how these can be adjusted. Getting to see and hear what these sound like, all you got to do is click on one and click the play button. That's not bad. A kick snare intro groove there, that's not too bad. Yeah, that's not too bad. Let's hear some other intros. This is a 4/4 snare kick and tom. See? It has all the kind of stuff that you would need. Here's some eighth notes, grooves, hi-hat a half open. Nice. So you see that it has all the grooves that you could ever really want. And you can actually come to this window and get a lot of inspiration. I like how it even has fills for the grooves. So I love this. How does this sound? That's awesome. That's awesome. And they come from this drum kit. So you can see how easy it is to just start building your track. Okay, so going back to our Mixcraft, one of the final things that I want to do here is clicking and dragging from your groove library. You can click and drag the groove that you want to be on the track. And then you can clearly see there's our groove. There's our groove, baby. So expanding on further on this, there's a couple of things I wanted to show you to finalize this episode. On our track window, you can see there's 3 buttons on the actual track itself. You can see the dash marks that represent all of our different instruments. If we actually click on a measured bar and go down to our bottom and go to where it says sound, you can see there is a canvas that you can paint your notes on. This will actually show you in time, in subdivision time, depending on how much you zoom in or zoom out, exactly what you're looking at. So as of this moment, you see it comes in with a kick and a crash, okay? And then it comes in with hi-hats that, you know, that carry on that whole beat with a snare sound, with a kick that comes it in 1 and 3. So kick and snare on 1 and 3, and hi-hats that follow with 8th notes. Beautiful. Nice downbeat. Boom. Dun 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 dun. All right. So say you like it, but you wanted it to be twice as long. Well, that's where this 3rd button comes in. You see how it has the little recursion button with the arrow on it, and then a plus? Well, that means double the length of the bar. Okay, and since we're using a spatial track, you always want to remember to double the length of both of your drums. You don't want to just have half a drums playing. That would be silly. You don't do that. And now you have achieved double the length of time that your bars are playing. Now, say you wanted to go into the next riff, okay? Well, to do that, you would go back to your instrument tab, go back to your drum kit, you would reopen the grooves window, you would go back to your hi-hat half open to where you just were, which I believe is this one. All right, and say we needed a fill. If I can accidentally not close windows, ha 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 ha. What we are going to do is back in here with our groove window, our hi-hat half open, and we have our groove selected that we were just listening to. All right, we are going to go to the fills window. Hmm.
2 hours later.
I like that one. So we are going to take the groove that we have found, and we are now going to upload it into our mix. So you can see, back in Mixcraft, it's just as easy as, remember, dragging it from the groove library window into your track, okay? And then, to cap this off, we are going to go into another groove. That's sort of a high halftime. We need something that matches our initial groove, and it sounds like this, remember. I like that. It's kind of a build-up. So we're gonna drag that into our bar. All right, and then zoom it out a little bit to where we can see the whole thing. We're just trying to create some nice fills with, you know, into something. That's what we want. I like that one. That's a good one. And then say for the last bit, we wanted a nice ride cymbal. Ooh, I like that one. Ghost notes are always fun. So just continuing to drag and drop these babies into our actual timeline here. We are going to do our last fill. Ooh. Ooh. I like that one. All right, so we're going to do that one. And then we're going to bring it down into one final. I think ending it on some nice groove. Yeah, I like that. And we're just gonna see how this all flows together, babies. All right, so now that we figured out exactly what we want to do with our groove, we're going to go back to our Mixcraft window, and we are going to listen to this bad boy from the beginning, zooming out. Seeing it's not red clipping at all, looking real good. You don't want it to be redundant. I like it. Nice build-ups into some halftime on the ride. Nice. Say this is our bridge or our chorus. You know, I like it. So you can see the power of Mixcraft has baffled even somebody like me who has been using a DAW for the last like 3 to 4 years. My brother who has used one for the last like 10 years, absolutely touted about this and along with Adobe, so I absolutely had to go in and find out for myself. I hope that this video has been informative for you all and you all were able to glean some information, because I love doing these informative informational series and I like to keep it fun because, like I said, this gets so tedious. Don't let anybody ever tell you this stuff isn't hard, because it is. Why do you think the music industry is such a tightly kept secret? It's ridiculous. So if you have a passion for music and you have an opportunity to get yourself the equipment to do this, have the wherewithal and drive, do it. I highly suggest doing it and making your own music, because this world needs more art, okay? This world needs more art. So I really appreciate everybody who has seen this video, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Any suggestions for future videos or anything that you guys would like me to cover in future videos, leave them down in the comments. I'd love to respond, and I'd love to make this into like a 100-part series. From me to you, Vanderhorst, I appreciate you guys. If you're new to the channel, consider giving us a sub. If you learned something, tell me what you learned. Tell me what you learned. And like I said, any questions, put them down in the bottom. I appreciate you. Y'all have a great one. I'll see y'all on the next one.